Why does your mask smell like my feet? Pick up some Mask Bright today.
Hey there, Papper people. When I'm not doing consultations through my website, AXG Sleep Diagnostics, I'm perusing other videos. And guess who's in my feed? None other than my good friend Nick. Now, some of you guys might know Nick. Nick has a CPAP channel also called CPAP Reviews. Great channel. Check him out if you haven't already. Now, he put a post up and I couldn't help but to comment. He puts, "This next video is insane. Philips versus ResMed auto algorithms. One user, two machines." And he shows a screenshot of a Dream Station, and he also shows a screenshot of an AirSense 10. Now, looking at the data, I can already I don't want to jump the shark on this, but what I said, I made a comment about this. I said, ResMed is aggressive to a fault. Respironics is conservative to a fault. This is when they are both interpreting the data correctly, which is super rare. Now, Nick wrote back to me, he said, "Lanky, my dear boy, I know you're a busy man, but if you could expand on this a little more, I would really appreciate it. What do you mean by aggressive to a fault? Do you mean the pressure increases are too much? Too fast for the level of flow limitations? Thanks, brother." Now, because this is Nick, and because he has way more subscribers, I have to respond. And I have to respond quickly. It's part of the YouTube code of ethics. Now, first we have to check out this comment by Church Hymns and Psalms about my video of the first look at the 3B Luna 2 Auto CPAP device. And this is a great segue to the sponsor of this channel, CPAPsupplies.com. Church Hymns and Psalms says, "Why do you say inexpensive? It looks like it's $850. Well, to that, my friend, I say, no. At CPAPsupplies.com, you can see it is $684.99. You, sir,
have overpaid.
Now, maybe if you went to CPAPsupplies.com instead of Pastor Bob's CPAP Emporium, you wouldn't have had to pay tithing, and you wouldn't have spent so much on your machine. Now, head on over to CPAPsupplies.com. You can get any of these great CPAP devices for great prices. You can also do what I always do, check out this mask selection. You can take any of these masks, stick them in your cart, apply coupon code LEFTY20, and get 20% off your purchase. How sweet is that? Head on over to the sponsor of this channel, CPAPsupplies.com. Guys, I appreciate your sponsorship of this channel. Now, here we have a clip that I used for another video. I titled it "Runaway Pressure APAP Sucks." Classic. And what you can see here is this is a ResMed device. Now we have to kind of approximate, because this is a video that I used. I can't actually manipulate the data in here. It's just whatever I recorded. So at this point over here, it looks like they're at about maybe 15 and a half as far as an IPAP. And then way over here, you can see it increases to the IPAP of probably about 18, roughly 18. So it goes up by 3 centimeters of water. Now, if we look at all of this data, we can see that there is a lot of sleep disordered breathing going on in here. As the pressure increases rapidly, it produces and induces CPAP-induced central apneas. Now, the problem with this is it's calling a lot of these obstructive apneas. These are central apneas. Why do I say they're central apneas? Because they are smooth going up, smooth going down. Just like this one tagged central apnea, smooth going up, smooth going down. If this is a true obstructive apnea, you're going to see slow going down and then rapid going up, like they're gasping for air. Smooth going up is simply a respiratory drive issue where the desire to breathe isn't that much and it's slowly building over time. So that's why you see the ramp up. So this would be a case in my example, my comment to Nick, where I said this is if they're even interpreting the data correctly. And in this case, they're not interpreting the data correctly. But sadly, this is exactly what I see more often than not with the ResMed device. Now, some other things I've seen with the ResMed device is they are hyper aggressive. And this is if they are interpreting the data correctly. Sometimes they'll blow past what we would call the optimal pressure, and what you see are CPAP-induced central apneas. And usually at that point, once it's already blown past them, it'll misinterpret them, calling them obstructive apneas, and leave them at that high pressure, so they have really long-term periods of Cheyne-Stokes respiration. It's usually the period that's highlighted in green. Now, that's not true Cheyne-Stokes respiration. That is more CPAP-induced central apnea. The machine doesn't know this, though. All right, let's go ahead and check out the Dream Station device. Okay, this is my father's data. Now, some of you have seen my dad in some of my videos. He received a new machine, and guess what? They sent it to him with a pressure of 4 to 20. Now, I've done exhaustive tests on my dad. We know for a fact that 15 centimeters of water is perfect for him. It's great. He sleeps great with it. So it was really interesting. I said, can I get the data off of this dad? And sure enough, he brought me the card like a champ. Now, we know his pressure is 15. And we know that when he uses that pressure without a flex, it looks even better. But look at here, he never ever reaches 15 centimeters of water, and the pressure range is 4 to 20. Let's see what happens when we have a period of very clear events. So right here, we're really low. My dad usually sleeps on his back, and what we see here is when he's on his side, it's actually a little bit better. But right there, we see the telltale signs of a position change. So as we're going, he changes to his back, and now we have clear hypopneas, clear hypopneas. Remember what I just said, slow decrease, rapid increase, slow decrease, rapid increase, slow decrease. Now the pressure is increasing for him, and it finally plateaus here at a pressure of 8.7. So look at what happens. It's just gonna cruise there. Another hypopnea, another hypopnea, another hypopnea, another hypopnea, another hypopnea. Falsely flagged obstructive apnea, and that finally gets it to kick up a little more. Really just, you can see lots of flow limitations within this. Not real good. Now that was an example of the DreamStation actually responding appropriately to what it's seeing. It's calling them obstructive events, whether they're hypopneas or obstructive apneas. It just never gets him to the pressure he needs to be at. At no point in my dad's data was there ever a flow rate that was nice and flat and smooth all the way across like you would expect to see. So that's what I mean by one is aggressive to a fault and one is conservative to a fault. Now, one thing I'd also like for you guys to check out is I am now on Sleep HQ. I'm going to start offering a new service of a one-time viewing of Sleep HQ, but this is someone who has utilized my service. Right around in this area is where we had our first meeting, and you can see if we go up, their apnea hypopnea index was all over the place. And then since we did our consultation, it is more or less very, very consistent. Another huge problem for this guy was he had massive leaks. We made some changes, and now his leak is much lower, if there's even a leak at all. Now if you check out one of his typical nights, you can see he had leak rates all over the place. His flow rate was a little bit all over the place. We made a couple tweaks, and now you can see how much flatter his flow rate is. More or less, it's really flat. No leak at all. The pressure's been stabilized. We changed from APAP to straight CPAP pressure. And this is one of those patients that was having a very low AHI on every night, but yet still felt tired all throughout the day. With these changes, the guy is feeling much better. So if you're feeling like your sleep therapy is not quite optimized, check out axgsleepdiagnostics.com and check out what services that we provide. And if you're curious and you really don't know what to do, go ahead and send me an email, support@axgsleepdiagnostics.com. And while you're at it, head on over to Amazon, buy some MassBright. If you found this information helpful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, use my Amazon affiliate link, and always remember, if you're buying any CPAP equipment, check out cpapsupplies.com, the sponsor of this channel. Thanks guys, have a good night. Thank you to all watching, but an extra thick thanks buddy to Doug Toombs, Jason Georgiades, Patricia Espelong, Sarvesh Joshi, Stuart Hetherington, Mona Swearingen, Chungchu Chen, and Edward Steiner, as well as a big thank you to all my other Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Little tiny thanks buddy for you guys.